I am Steve Carrick, and I lost 43 pounds with Gutless.
Steve, great to see you, man. So, you are a Gutless Live Wire graduate, and today we're just going to talk about your experience with Gutless. And first and foremost, how much did you lose over what amount of time? And then tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, where you live, age, family, all that good stuff.
Yeah, you bet. So I ended up losing 43 pounds over the 8 weeks. I live in Las Vegas. I'm 42 years old, and I'm a sports agent. I represent NFL players. So I travel a lot. I live on the road. I don't eat well. I have no routine when it comes to working out. And I had let myself, really just get fat. There's no other way to put it. And um, I figured with quarantine, I was home. I had seen CJ LeBoy and what he had done. He's someone I know through the industry, the NFL agent industry, and I just said, man, if CJ can do it when he's home, why not? Why don't I just flip this quarantine on its ass, right? Let's, instead of saying how horrible it is, let's take advantage of the time I've got home and get into this thing. And so I did it, and it was honestly one of the best things I've ever done in my life.
What did C?
Excuse me, say that again.
Sorry, there's a little echo. That's weird. What did CJ do?
CJ lost what, 49 pounds in 8 weeks, 48, 49, I forget where he was, but it was incredible. I mean, I had seen him at the NFL Combine in March. And again, I'm not talking trash here, but CJ looked like CJ, right? And all of a sudden I see this post from him about this diet that he's on Facebook, and he looked like a different human. I mean, honestly, he looked like he'd lost a human. Like there's so much less of him. And it inspired me. And I said, man, I got to do this. I've got to try it. I didn't know anything about it. I reached out to you and just said, let's go for it.
Nice. Where's the rest of you, right? You look at CJ like,
yeah.
That's great. And so, what were some of the pains leading up to you signing up? I understand CJ was the impetus and the inspiration for you jumping on the call, but talk us through where you were at, like some of the pains associated with the extra weight and some of the struggles you experienced on your journey to try to lose the weight. And then most guys have failed time and time again. So if you could talk about some of the pains that brought you to the call and what you had tried before, that'd be great.
Yeah, I had tried a lot of things before. I was very anti-fad diet. Being someone who was an athlete at one point and kind of knew how to get in shape. Whenever someone would bring up doing these fad diets, I was always against them. I said, you know what, you just need balance, you need consistency. The problem with me is that my lifestyle didn't really allow that. And so I had tried some of that stuff. In fact, the month leading up to me signing up for Gutless, I did Whole30 with my wife. And in 4 weeks, I lost 8 pounds. When you look at that in comparison to 8 weeks and 43, which one worked better, right? It wasn't even close. And what led me to it, I mean, you know what? I don't want to say that I thought about my weight every day, because I didn't. I actually had gotten to a point where I had just kind of accepted, I am who I am now. I'm this fat guy, you know? And when I saw what CJ did, it kind of just, I don't know, it set a fire under me a little bit to say, you know what, I don't have to accept that. I can try to go back and be who I was, right? Get back in shape and be the guy that I was. And so I did, but looking back at it now, even though I didn't think about it every day, it was definitely something that I was self-conscious about. It was something I was embarrassed of. It's something I joked about, but, I joked about it to make myself feel better, I think, more than anything. But yeah, man, I had tried a lot. I had failed a lot. And this is the one thing I finally tried that got me back to where I am, and I'm still losing.
Yeah, you talked about your wife. I think you told me this, but I think you told me your wife had asked you, she's like, Steve, I've tried so many times to get you in shape.
Yeah.
Why is it that this works and you're listening to Coach Bryce, but you wouldn't listen to me?
Well, first of all, she was mad that I spent the money without telling her and signing up. So she's like, you just lost 8 pounds on Whole30 with me. Just keep doing it with me. You've tried all this stuff. Why are you going to try this? She was really against it, which surprised me, honestly, because I knew she wanted me to lose the weight, right? And she's a 180 now. She is the biggest fan of Gutless. She's the biggest fan of everything I'm doing. She's supportive. And as soon as I got into the program, I lost 11 pounds in the first week. And she saw that right away and immediately became supportive of the program. I showed her the M1 matrix, and she was figuring out what she could make and how we could cook together and eat together, and was 1,000% behind it. So she did, within a week of me signing up, full 180, saying, man, this is the best thing you've ever done.
Amazing. And so, we talk about that first week a lot. We're writing a book right now, talking about the fact that you'll see me yelling at guys, not actually yelling, but commenting in caps. Where are your carbs? Why are you eating like an ant? Is this meal made for ants? Eat more food. You're not supposed to be hungry. There are no portion controls. So talk to the audience about how weird that is hearing that from a weight loss coach. A lot of it's counterintuitive, right? But you lost 11 pounds in the first week, and you saw Kenny Chapman lost 19 in the first week.
18 or 19, yeah.
Yeah, and then Danny lost 17, and a bunch of other guys lost 13, 14, 11. So talk us through how that was kind of weird. And did you have any doubts about the program? Because a lot of guys are just like, what is he talking about? Like, there's no way I can eat all this food and still lose weight. This is counterintuitive and not what I was expecting.
Absolutely. When you see the matrix, you kind of see these are the foods I'm eating. My first thought was, well, I like these foods. Like this should be easy, right? It's funny you say that you yell at people, but I remember I posted my first meal, and you were the person that commented on. You said, "Eat more. That's too small. You're going to get hungry." It was the first thing you put on my very first post I posted, and so I did. And so yeah, there was no portion control. I was eating burgers, tacos, things that I like, and eating plenty of it. And then I lost 11 pounds in the first week, and like you said, there were other guys in the group that lost more. And so that's something too, where just right away you immediately, the faith you had in the program already just gets doubled, because you see in such a short amount of time that it works. And for those guys putting in the work, and in fact, I think I lost 10 or 11, and my group was Mark Rice. I was second in my group that week, the first week. I remember walking into that call thinking, man, I'm going to have the highest weight loss of the group. And I think I was like fourth or fifth or something like that, and not even top of my own pod. So immediately you're eating what you want, you're eating plenty of food, you're eating carbs, all the things that the fad diets tell you that you can't do, and you're doing them and you're having success. So it just, every single week that I saw that, I got more and more faith in the program, and it really just pushed me even harder every single week.
Nice. And you talked about fad diets. You talked about the fact that you had tried them and you didn't have a lot of confidence in the next best thing, right? So you just kind of talked to some really important concepts that make Gutless a lifestyle change and not a fad diet. So would you say that this is something you can continue long-term? And you've been out of the program for a month and a half, something like that now. So yeah. Talk us through what that looks like afterwards, because Whole30, for instance, it's 30 days, but nobody can stick to that long-term. And keto, I always say, unless you think you're tougher than a Navy SEAL, you're not going to succeed with keto. Because my cousin Brett, who is a Navy SEAL, succeeded with keto for 5 years, which is the longest I've ever heard of, and then fell off like everybody does, because you can't keep up with that diet long-term. There are no eating out options. You're eating 75% plus fats. It's very inconvenient. So talk us through that. Is it a lifestyle, or is this just another fad diet?
No, it's 100% lifestyle. Like you said, I've been off the program now, or I'm not off the program. I think that's the key, right? Is that even when the diet, the quote unquote diet ended, I didn't want it to stop. Quite frankly, I was kind of lost the first week or two. Like, man, I have to be posting my meals and I have to be posting my workouts every day. I don't know where to do it until Bravado. But since the program, I've lost, I think, 7 more pounds since the program ended now. And that's, obviously being a lot more lenient than I was when I was going through the intensive 8-week program. But I've relearned how to eat. I've relearned how to treat myself. I think that's one of the biggest things, that there were times when I just was gluttonous, and I'm past that now. I don't want to reward myself with food anymore. Food is fuel, and that's kind of how I look at it as now. And yeah, I like to eat and I want it to taste good, but I can do that on the Gutless diet. And so I just continue to do it. And one of the biggest things too is, while the Gutless diet doesn't require, a crazy amount of exercise, and you're not out spending hours in the gym, what it really did do for me is kind of reignite the competitive fire in me. And, you know, like I say, the warrior in me, it woke me up, and it makes me want to work out more. It makes me want to do more. It makes me feel good to do that. And so I'm 2 months off it. I'm still losing weight. I'm going to continue. There's never been a time since the program ended where I've said, oh man, like, I just don't want to do this anymore. This is too hard. Um, I really relearned how to nourish my body and how to take care of my body. And it's not hard. I enjoy it. So no, it's 100% maintainable. And I think you see that with not just myself, but a lot of the other guys in my group that still keep in contact, that are all still losing weight, still doing it. Literally this morning, a bunch of us got on a Peloton ride together and pushed each other. And, you know, we're all 2 months out of the program. So it's great. It's a lifestyle change, and it's changed my life.
And you make those contacts for life. You know, that's it was so surprising for a lot of the guys. They didn't think they'd buy into the culture and the, you know, the group dynamic. And so you're saying a lot of the guys you're keeping in touch with, you're motivating each other on a regular basis. Yes, there is Gutless grad bravado, but even still, you made a lot of great connections, it sounds like, with a lot of the guys that went through the program with you. There was a brotherhood that you signed up for and you became a part of. Can you talk about the group dynamic?
100%. And I'm one of the guys that was skeptical of that coming in. I think I remember early on telling you, you're not going to hear from me much. I'm all about that action, but I'm not going to be, you know, saying a lot. I'm not a talker. That's just how I am. But what and I didn't expect to. I thought I was going to do the diet, kind of do it in my corner, like I kind of live the rest of my life, and not really be out pushing. But what you find, I talked a little bit about the competitive fire, that really fired me up. That first call when I wasn't first, when I thought, man, I've lost all this weight and there's 3 or 4 guys in front of me, it made me mad. I wanted to go catch him. I wanted to go get him. And, you know, we had Danny Marteau, who's the GOAT of the program, who lost 50 plus pounds, right? He's in Florida and I'm in Nevada. And every morning I would wake up and look and see what he'd already done and chase it all day long. If Danny did 2 sweatshirts, I was going to go get 3. If he'd already done a 30-minute bike ride, I was going to do 31 at a minimum. You know, I was chasing him constantly. But then at the same time, the camaraderie, like you said, the accountability factor. I think that's one thing that a lot of guys are missing, right? Going to the gym by yourself, and you don't push yourself because you don't have to. But when you've got other people out there pushing you and pushing for you, you're accountable to your group, and you have to go out and not just do it for them, but for yourself. And, you know, there was the hardest thing for me during this thing that you and I have talked about was cutting the caffeine. And I know you can't have it, but for me, I was all in. I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to cut the caffeine. I went cold turkey. I just remember so many days, you know, my wife's making coffee in the morning and I can smell it and I wanted it so bad, but I thought, hey man, like Mark and Bob, like we lose points. If I go drink that cup of coffee, there's no way I'm going to let those guys down. I got to go get in my workouts because we have to win that competition for the workout competition. And so the accountability factor, the brotherhood, the competition, all those things wrapped into one is what I think really makes this thing so special. And yes, all the guys that I went through the class with, we all still keep in contact. A lot of it through bravado, but a lot of it beyond that. And we still text with each other. Ike's been out to Vegas a couple of times. Like, I mean, it's new friendships.
Awesome. And let's talk about clothes. So that shirt looks a little big on you, brother. So talk us through the clothes factor. So you fit back into the suit that you were wearing when you got married, right? So you posted a picture, or was it an anniversary? One way or the other. How many years ago was that? And how many sizes did you drop in clothing?
Yeah, so 15 years ago, I got married and wore a suit to the wedding that I have not worn at least for a decade. I'm not exactly sure how long it was, but the last week of the program coincided with my 15-year anniversary. So my wife and I went out to dinner to celebrate the anniversary, and I wore the suit that I got married in 15 years later that I had not fit in, like, at least for 10 years. I was wearing XXL everything and was barely fitting in that. And now I'm down to larges, depending on the cut, sometimes XL, but I'm wearing larges and XL. This shirt that you say is big on me, I got this from San Diego State. I don't know. They played in the Vegas Bowl maybe 7, 8 years ago. I didn't fit in it when I bought it. I've never worn it before. I'd never worn it until Gutless ended. And I went through my closet, threw out all my double XL, and just started pulling out all this stuff that I had that I hadn't fit in for 10 years that all fits on. It's almost like I have a whole new wardrobe. And then one of the coolest things was I wore a pair of jeans to a pro day on March 12th. It was right before quarantine started. And it literally took me 15 minutes to button them. Like I didn't fit them. I was like, man, I gotta order new jeans. So I ordered a size up. They came. And then I started Gutless. I never opened that pair of jeans because quarantine started. And quite frankly, I was wearing shorts and sweats every day and I didn't have to. But it got to the point where when Gutless ended, I put on those jeans that it took me 10 minutes to get into in March. And they were too big for me. I couldn't even wear those anymore. I needed to get new jeans. So those ones I bought who were size up, I sent them back. Like I'll never wear them. I never wore them and I never will. So down a size in my jeans, I had to go get a new belt, fitting into clothes that I hadn't fit in for 10 plus years. I'm as light now as I was when I graduated high school.
How's that feel?
It feels fantastic. I mean, you just feel so much better. You have so much energy. I will tell you the coolest thing for me, I have a 9-year-old son and a 7-year-old daughter. And there were definitely times looking back on it now, and I don't even think I realized this when it was happening, but when my kids would want me to go play with them or whatever, and I would say no because I was tired and I was lazy and I just didn't want to. Now I'm up, I'm more active with them, I'm spending more time with them, but beyond that, my son like does burpees with me and does push-ups with me, and watching him emulate what I'm doing and setting that example for him, like there's nothing more rewarding than that.
Amazing. And so you mentioned how your wife was not thrilled about your investment into Gutless. What would you say to men, because that comes up all the time we do our intake calls, what would you say to the guys who are like, I'm interested, I know I need this, but let me check with my wife?
I would say spend it and she will reward you later. It's worth every penny and more. My wife constantly, to this day, again, a month and a half out of the program, will just walk into a room with me and say, like, you look fantastic. It's drastic. The change you've made is drastic. You look so good. Like, she constantly complimenting me. It hadn't been like that in, again, 10 plus years. I referred a couple of my buddies into this next group of Gutless, and I told every one of them, I said, listen, if cost is prohibitive, I will make you this promise. If you don't lose, if you put the work in and you don't lose what your target is, I'll pay for it. I'll reimburse you because I'm that confident you're going to do it. And I guarantee they're going to. I know they're going to. So it's worth every penny and more. Quite frankly, you're not charging enough.
I love it. All the time. And my response is, my focus has been on making the program excellent and just driving the results. And the program builds on its own, right? And as we add more layers, it might become more expensive. But you know, I'm very much result focused, and so that's my number one priority. And we've made the program so strong now that prices could very well go up, and they probably will. But first and foremost, it's just a matter of making it better and better and getting results like the ones that you got. Who would you recommend this to? You recommended it to a few friends, but when you're thinking about dads, I work with a lot of dads who are struggling to be the role models and the leaders that they want to be in their households. Talk us through some of the guys that might benefit from this program, Gutless.
Honestly, Bryce, I can't think of anyone who wouldn't benefit from it. But I think from my point of view, the biggest obstacle for me was always time, right? That was the excuse I made for myself, was I don't have time. I travel all the time. When I am home, I'm a father of 2. I own and run my own business with 35 NFL clients, which, you know, are each a business in themselves. It's, you know, I just never had the time. And what I really found were 2 things. One is that you can do this without having to dedicate, you know, a great amount of time to it. You just have to dedicate being disciplined and just doing the work. I always tell my clients, work works, and that's the bottom line. If you know, the great thing that you've done, Bryce, is like, we have the answers for the test and you give them to us. We just have to go execute it. And that's really what we had to do. And then the other thing that you drilled into me and the rest of the guys in the program, which is, I think, so important that I've embraced, is that if you don't spend time on yourself, you're not going to be around to spend time on all these other things, whether it be your family or your job or anything else. And you're 100% right, man. I was fat and I was having health issues, and now they're gone. You know, one thing, I had like chronic heartburn. I took omeprazole every single day. I haven't taken it since this program, at all. Like it just went away because my diet's so much better. I got blood work done, and I don't remember the specifics now, but my doctor was amazed at how much better my blood work was from when I started in March to where I am now. And so I think the thing I would say is, you know, it teaches you that your health and taking care of yourself is paramount, right? Everything else, if you don't take care of that first, nothing else matters, because you may not be around for it anyhow. So I think if you're someone who's a father or a business owner or someone who travels a lot, and you just keep saying, I don't have the time, I don't have the time, you'll find that A, it doesn't take a lot of time, and B, you deserve that time. And I think that's the mentality that it really branded into me, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, we always say if you don't put yourself first, and everybody comes in last. So your family doesn't get what they need, your clients don't get what they need. Everybody in your sphere of influence needs you to be at your best, and they need you to be alive. So if you're thinking that you're not giving your family the extra 30 minutes or whatever you're taking out of your day to take care of yourself, you got to think about it from the long-term perspective instead of the myopic vision, which is, oh, right now I'm taking time for myself. That's selfish. Actually, it's the opposite. Not taking time for yourself is selfish, because you're not going to be able to be the leader and the father, the provider that they need. You're not going to be alive in a lot of cases. Mark Rice, your teammate, he said quite literally, I went from my doctor saying, you're going to die, like your blood results show that you might die, to you're all good. Your diabetes has been reversed. Your blood pressure is down. Triglycerides are under control. So we see that time and time again. You know, this game for many guys who sign up is it quite literally is life or death. So thank you for speaking to all those things. And the last thing we do here is hold up the five. Five fingers make a fist. Gutless gang, and say, I am Steve Carrick. I lost 43 pounds with Gutless.
I am Steve Carrick, and I lost 43 pounds with Gutless.
Thank you, brother. I'm going to stop the recording and we'll finish our combo.
Okay.